In the words of Chairman Prescott, the coalition of ordered governments was a strange beast to control. It was a global alliance. Heads of COG states had to want to cooperate, or at least fear the wrath of the others if they tried to break ranks. As always, I'm your host Abz, and this is the COG Government in Gears of War lore. The coalition of ordered governments was headed by the chairman, who was elected by the Council of Sovereigns in the COG capital of Athera. The Council of Sovereigns took place in the House of Sovereigns, and this held the office of the chairman and was the central command for the military branch. The House of Sovereigns was located in Embry Square, and this was the entertainment and commercial centre in Athera, which became the political and economic headquarters of the International Alliance after the establishment of the coalition. Embry Square was named after Allfather Prime and founder of the coalition of ordered governments, Nasser Embry, who founded the COG on the ideals and concepts of socialism. But who exactly were the Allfathers? Now, they were the founding fathers of the COG during the fuel crisis that predated the Pendulum Wars. They were the heads of state of emotion-rich nations that united under the Octus Canon, the founding document of the COG collective, which outlined their utopian vision for society. Inside the House of Sovereigns meeting chamber were statues representing the 8 moral principles outlined in the Octus Canon. Unfortunately for the COG, the House of Sovereigns was attacked in the initial onslaught on Emergence Day, but it was quickly defended and secured. The house continued to be operated until 10 years after Emergence Day, when the Locust Horde won the battle in the COG capital of Athera, and the last known operation held within the house was the trial of Marcus Phoenix.
This building used to be a beautiful place. There's a lot of history here. A lot of lies, too. Well, you've got some nerve, soldier. I know all about your trial.
His trial was a sham, sir.
The House of Sovereigns was then abandoned as the coalition relocated and turned a former hospital in Jacinto City into a military base, known as Reitman Base. This became the COG's new capital building, as the House of Sovereigns was then occupied by the Locust for 4 years until 14 AE. The chairman of the COG had authority over all the armed forces of its member states. The second in command and the second highest executive figure was the deputy chairman. There was also a cabinet where individual departments were created to support specific areas of the COG. Of these departments, the head of each was a part of the cabinet. The COG Defense Department was the department in charge and in authorization of the overall defense purposes of the COG, as well as having overall command over all of the COG armed forces. The Department of Health was set up to protect the health of all COG citizens, providing essential human services and maintaining their ambulance services. They also ran the New Hope Research Facility before it was shut down. There were also many smaller agencies that were smaller than the departments of the COG, but some of these agencies had huge pivotal roles in the COG and its society and military. One agency was the Defense Select Committee, which had the responsibility of drafting legislation pertaining to defense-related issues. They also had the responsibility and authorization of drafting any new weapon, vehicle, or tool that would be used by the COG armed forces. The COG Intelligence Agency, or COG Intel, was an agency responsible for gathering and presenting information on the safety of the COG and intelligence about their enemies. As Colonel Hoffman would say, everything is on a need-to-know basis. The COG Defense Research Agency was in charge of designing and developing weapons, and also produced military technology for the armed forces. One of their most noticeable creations was of course the Hammer of Dawn, as well as other creations such as the Light Mass Bomb and the Sonic Resonator. Despite its socialist ideals, the COG had authoritarian characteristics, using mass propaganda to conform citizens to the ideals of the COG, even controlling the syllabus in schools to heavily teach the political ideologies of the COG. They even used fraudulent elections. Now, elections were not always so fair, sometimes a complete sham, and the COG's authoritarian government used their judiciaries to manipulate or control elections. The Council of Sovereigns had the deliberate power to elect a candidate for the position of chairman, therefore establishing their own legislative agenda. Order was everything in the coalition of ordered governments. Order not only had to do with the government, military, as well as civilian sectors, but also had to do with recording, archiving and bookkeeping of records and documents that encompassed everybody in the COG. Every file, every document, and every report was recorded in a ledger and stored away. Even when the COG was in a significant crisis, such as the Locust War, COG officials recorded and kept records of everything that happened. This archiving and filing not only had to do with history, but anything and everything that was a record, including reports, seismographic charts, photographs, maps, schematics, and technical journals. So that, my friends, is the COG Government in Gears of War lore. Drop a like if you enjoyed this lore video, subscribe for more similar content like this, and I'll leave a link at the top right of the screen if you want to watch my other lore videos as well. I'm your host Abz, and as always, I will catch you guys next time.